blows up, and then suddenly the workout is missed, and then the food goes off the rails, and then you're telling yourself like, oh, okay, I'll just start again next week. That's the cycle that I lived for many years. And the problem wasn't that I was like weak or lazy or anything like that. The problem was I was trying to run my life on motivation instead of systems. So today, I want to show you exactly how I think about this now and how I stay consistent even when I don't feel like it. So today, we're going to cover why relying on motivation burned me out in the past, and then how the power list turns goals into daily wins without motivation, and then why systems build lasting metabolic habits that motivation alone can't touch. So, just for a recap, just anyone jumping in now, I've been doing a 14-day challenge. So, what I've been doing every single day of the 14-day challenge are 5 critical tasks that I need to get done. So, the first one is sticking to the diet. So, that's just at my chosen carb level. So, that's the strict, moderate, or liberal. The next one is hydration. So that's my daily water intake with electrolytes. My sleep is my chosen wake time and bedtime. And then I've got the movement. So that's my daily workout. And then the accountability, which is for the challenge, it's posting to my Skool group. I created a thread that's just kind of in place for people to be held accountable and stuff as you're going through the challenge. So the challenge is very simple. It's either I did the task or I didn't. I win or lose the day based on these 5 critical tasks. And then I reset and start at day 1 if I'd missed any of the tasks. So today we're going to zoom out a bit and we're going to talk about how I actually stay consistent, even when motivation disappears. So we'll talk about why relying on motivation stopped me from hitting my goals before. So for a long time, my plan was basically just to hand off my tasks to my future self. When I didn't have any motivation, I would just think of my future self as like someone that if I didn't feel motivated in this moment, maybe somehow my future self would have the motivation, would have the energy, stuff like that. And instead of like that ending up working, I think as most of us know, the tasks just end up keep getting piled up because you don't have some sort of superpower or anything like that. Like you're not a superhero as far as like motivation goes and energy in the future. So those tasks just keep building up. And then like it's great when you do have the motivation because then you get a lot more momentum, you get things done a lot more easily. So that's always good. But the thing is, unfortunately, as humans, we're not always motivated, right? Like some motivation can be super fleeting. Even like some of the most successful people in the world, that they're not just out here just with some ungodly motivation that just us mere mortals don't have, right? It's like they got to work at it and they just understand that they have to create their own motivation sometimes, and they just have to push through it and have something in place to be able to rely on like a system to be able to get through the times when they don't want to do anything, right? So motivation is pretty much just emotional. It's temporary and it's completely unreliable. So what actually changed things for me wasn't more motivation. It was building systems that work even when I don't feel like doing any of this. So like most of the time I go about my days and I don't really feel like doing all the stuff that I need to do. Right. So what I have here is the power list. And this is something that I learned from somebody that I look up to. His name is Andy Frisella. And so he gave me the idea of this power list and I kind of incorporated it into the challenge that I'm running in my Skool group. So basically what it is it's 5 non-negotiable tasks for the day that drive my goals directly. So I just write them down and then I execute on each of them day in, day out until they become a habit. Then I'm able to switch them out for something else that moves the needle. Because the whole point of this is to start building habits, because information isn't something that we're lacking. Like we can go to Chat GPT and get any answer to any question. The thing is are we going to actually implement it and actually get things done? So part of that is like behavior change, building habits, that kind of stuff. So the things that I put on this power list, they're not like just vague wishes like eat better or exercise more. They're specific controllable behaviors that I can check off today, like the 5 tasks that I have for this challenge. And so you can tackle them in any order, anytime during the day. But they all have to be done to be able to claim the win. So for this challenge, like if you miss one, like I mentioned before, you have to start back at day one. So this just puts a simple pressure on you to keep moving without waiting for motivation to show up. And then you build a strong, lasting habits in the process. So I designed this challenge with metabolic health in mind. So these tasks deliver consistent energy, they kill brain fog, and they cut stubborn body fat. And these daily tasks aren't random. They pull the biggest levers as taught by Dr. Ben Bickman with insulin IQ and the methodology I learned over there and got certified in. And so just let me break them down a little bit for you. So the first task is meals. So that's just a protein first meals when you're setting them up and at your specific carb level. So what I have is I have different eating plans with different carb levels. So that's the strict, moderate, liberal. And this will control insulin spikes right out the gate. And then we have the hydration piece. So half your body weight in ounces plus the electrolytes. So this fixes dehydration that most people mistake for low energy. And it also kills the keto flu because when you're eating low carb, you might experience symptoms that most people call the keto flu. And this is just while your body's adapting to start burning fat as a fuel instead of glucose. So that's really going to help you. And number 3 is the sleep piece. So here we're just choosing a consistent bedtime and wake time to be able to set your circadian rhythm because this keeps your sleep cycles regular because one bad night of sleep can make you up to 40% more insulin resistant the next day. So sleep is a very, very important piece. And one of the best things you can do to start getting into a better sleep routine is setting that circadian rhythm. Number 4, so you're going to want to have some sort of daily activity. And so muscles soak up a lot of glucose like a sponge, and that'll end up dropping your insulin naturally. So it's one of the easiest things you can do to start getting some movement on getting your insulin lower. And then you want to have some sort of accountability. So this is to help you stay on the path with your daily tasks. So it's some sort of accountability, but that's why I got it incorporated into this challenge. And then the system scales. So like once something becomes automatic and you started building the habit of it, like the hydration piece, you're able to hit your hydration levels each day, and then you get your electrolytes in. So then you can swap it out for something else that's going to move the needle because that's already habitual. You don't need to worry about that anymore. It's just something you do, right? So you don't need to be perfect on any of this. You just need to be consistent because consistent wins compound, and then they end up making real metabolic change in this context. So why do systems beat motivation for metabolic health? Well, motivation feels great, but flakes when life hits. So like when you're more stressed, maybe you have a late night, you don't sleep well, you got some family chaos, something like that. Systems like the power list here, they don't care about your mood, anything like that. They just deliver results because it just gives you a framework to be able to stick to. These are the tasks that I need to do on a daily basis. And then I just keep repeating these tasks over and over and over again. And that's what starts building the habit. And that's what's going to give you lasting change. So a little bit of the behavior science behind this. So habits form via cues, cravings, responses, and rewards. So usually something becomes a habit between 21 and 66 days. It depends on the habit, depends on the person. There's lots of different variables there, but that's just roughly the way it works. And when habits are formed, there's little to no willpower drain because now it becomes automatic and your brain is always seeking the easiest way to do things to save energy and be more efficient. And so that's what habits are. And so the behavior science pushes processes over feelings for lasting change because that's literally how we're wired to work. And for metabolic health, this means insulin smart behaviors stack daily. So stabilizing energy without emotional roller coasters. So you can use things like if then plans. So if it's 7 p.m., then protein plus a walk before I end up sitting on the couch after work. Something like that. Because studies have shown that these type of things, they boost health adherence 2 to 7 times. And so motivation is just the fire, but the systems keep that fire burning. So you need to have a system in place to be able to make this stuff stick. So I'm going to go over just my day 12 power list, like I've been going each day during the course of this challenge. So just a quick check-in here. So for my meals, It's pretty standard. Like I'm I eat like similar things almost every day. I'm just eating 2 meals in the day, and then I eat until I'm full. And so whatever that ends up being, usually it's been fairly consistent from on a day-to-day basis. But I had some hamburger with some onion, half of avocado, a little bit of salsa, and some bacon for breakfast. And then I had a leftover hamburger, so I eat that for dinner with some more bacon, some more onion, and then a little bit of cheese. And then it ends up being like usually it's around 2200 to 2900 calories per day. And again, I'm not worried about anything but the carb count. And usually the protein lines up to what I'm going to be needing. So for me, it's 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. I'm not looking to gain or lose any body weight. So I'm 185 pounds, and I've been getting consistently over that every day. And then my fat's been consistent, and so have the calories. So I'm not worried about that. But the reason why I decided to just tell people as part of this challenge to look at the carbs, because that's the most important thing in the beginning, when your body's trying to adapt and stuff like that. Because then after that, then there's things we can do to kind of optimize the other things like the protein, like the types, how much fat we want to get, stuff like that. But in the beginning, it's just don't overwhelm yourself. You want to keep things simple so you're able to stick to it, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to stick to things long term, because most people end up quitting before anything starts working. So number 2 here was the hydration. So for me, that's half my body weight in ounces, and then I just converted it to liters, and then I just rounded up because I do a lot of training and sweating. So that ended up being 3 liters for me. And then I have electrolytes. So I salt my food generously with my Baja Gold organic sea salt, and I take a electrolyte powder, which the one that I take is BioSteel. I'm not affiliated with them, anything like that. It's just one that I like, and it's not sweetened with sugar. So that's what I take for that. And then my sleep, I chosen the bedtime of 9 p.m. So that's my head hitting the pillow, ready to sleep by 9. And then I'm up by 4:30, no snoozing, nothing like that. And like I say on every single one, because I know there's so many people out there that like to snooze, and I used to be one of those people too. But if you're doing a challenge like this or something, uh, what I recommend is just setting up so your alarm goes off and you're able to snooze till the time you need to get up. Because like if you're doing this challenge, then you'll restart at the beginning if you don't get up at that time. So my workout it was just active recovery. So it wasn't anything crazy. I was just doing some foam rolling, did some stretching, did a little bit of walking on the treadmill. So nothing crazy. It was just like a rest day, but I still got the heart rate elevated doing some of this stuff, making sure the muscles are getting some attention with the foam rolling. That's hands down one of the best things that I've incorporated, especially when I do a lot of running. And then the accountability piece. So I just made a quick post to the thread before I went to bed last night. And that's just where like I can just hold myself accountable, maybe make a quick note of the about the day. So here I had a craving for a cinnamon bun, but it didn't last long. Whatever, cinnamon buns are great, but it's not something that I eat all the time. And for this challenge, especially, it's not something that I'm going to give into because, well, that's the reason for the challenge, because we want to start building habits. So it's non-negotiable. And then same rules always. So it's either I did the tasks or I didn't, and then I won or lost a day based on these 5 critical tasks. I ended up winning the day yesterday. So if you did want some help building some of these systems out, and not relying on just feeling motivated, you can jump into the free Skool group that I have set up where I'm hosting this challenge. So inside you'll get like some checklists, you'll get some frameworks that you can just copy. You get meal plans, food lists for each level of the each carb level. So that's the strict, moderate, liberal. I have food lists for that. You'll get step-by-step guides for the core habits that we teach in the group, and other people are also doing it, like myself. So you have other people that are all trying to do the same thing, for the accountability piece. So it's just so you're not like trying to white knuckle this all alone. But that's all I got for you for day 12. And just remember to start thinking in systems and just not motivation. So I'll be hopping on for another day 13 tomorrow. So hope to see you there. And I hope this was helpful. And